That's my Greek salad and my rose smoothie. James is having waffle with blueberry, and that looks disgusting, but it'll taste good. And he's having the green juice and smoothie too. And what that is this stuff mixed with cherry juice. So we're going to talk about beautiful birds, which got top of the stack. That's a PBS Nature thing. And then James will talk about The Great Season 1 a little bit.
Did you finally get through it, or we're still?
No, you're still watching it. You were supposed to watch more of it today, but while I was at the library for 3 hours, but no, he didn't. So, yeah, he's now on the final disc.
Oh,
he's started the final disc
of
season 1. Then he'll be working on season 2.
Oh, ow! That hurts.
So.
Yeesh.
He wanted to talk about a few things about it before he forgets, you know, as he goes along. He might remember again, but he might
Sometimes
not. So.
When I get wounded enough, I'm like an elephant. I never forget, but maybe I can forgive and forget.
Yeah. So, beautiful birds. This is 2 discs, and the one is Hummingbirds, Magic in the Air, and the other one is Birds of the Gods. And this is about paradise birds, and so beautiful, or birds of paradise, whatever. Both are amazing, and I see why they put these together, because there's one kind of hummingbird, I think it was called spatule tail or something like that, hummingbird. Anyway, there's one type, and it has these long feathers, and then at the end of the feathers it's like a circular sort of thing, so a big long thing. And what the hummingbird does, they managed to catch it on video, which yay, what it does with those things is it'll fly and it'll have them spinning above their heads and stuff. Yeah, they'll do this dance with those awesome feathers. And so there's another bird that, I mean, this is hummingbirds. This is just hummingbirds are only in America. They're an American thing. But these birds here, I think it was this one, or maybe it was another kind of bird of paradise. But anyway, a kind of bird of paradise that is on this video has, and I believe they were from Papua New Guinea. They have that same kind of, they're a way bigger bird, but they have that same kind of long feather with the spatule kind of thing at the end of the tail, whatever. And they do a dance thing with them. So wild, hey? Far away, different kind of birds, and yet they both have the same sort of tail. So I see why they put these discs together, beautiful birds, in this PBS Nature set. And it works out to be, usually the PBS things, they do a good job of keeping it to around an hour long, right? Their shows. Mm-hmm. Not all the time. With the frontline stuff, it could be really long, like James was talking about one recently, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And the frontline stuff, I don't know. But the PBS Nature, often really good. And so the 2 discs, it's 120 minutes. So it's very easy to sit on and, you know, you put it in the DVD player and you listen to it while you're whatever, or watch it while you have a little bit of time. And you can even, what I was doing was I'd play and then, you know, watch 5 minutes and then stop and go do something else, whatever. And so actually the Hummingbirds one, I watched in just little short installments over maybe a week or something like that, like just whenever I had a moment where I wanted to be uplifted and, you know, feel good about nature, have nature heal me or whatever. And so sometimes
I'm just getting healed watching this, looking at their pictures. They look like a couple of characters there on the cover.
They're all wonderful. Yeah. I love them. So I think I'm going to keep this around for a long time and just keep doing that. Put it on for a few minutes and feel relaxed again. Feel nice about life. Because sometimes life is hard, and nature helps with that. It helps make things easier. So Yeah, it's amazing. I've learned so many things about the various different birds in here. And I learned some things about people. Like I thought that the reason that so many birds were made endangered was because of um, women who were like British or American or whatever, fancy women wearing hats with the bird feathers in them. But they showed in this Words of the Gods what the native people do with these feathers and how many they kill. And if you've ever tried to keep feathers around or had anything like a violin bow around, and it's in a sealed case, and then you open up your violin and there's some little um, beetle larvae or something like that have chewed on the strings, and you're like, ah. But so feathers, they don't last well, right? Some insect is going to get at them. Nature, it's meant not to last. Things are meant to decompose and be eaten by other things, and then life goes on, right? Circle of life sort of thing. So the feathers aren't meant to stay around. So it's actually not the native women, it's the native men who put up the big headdresses and whatever so that they can, I guess, look attractive with these bird feathers. And they put a lot of it's not just the bird feathers, it's not like they're collecting like feathers that have been molted or anything like that. No. They're hunting the birds. They dry the skin with the feathers, and then they stick the whole bird in a big headdress. So then they have like, but because these birds aren't very big, really, dried out. Anyway, so
The women used to wear capes.
that's right too. Yeah.
Seems barbaric, and
Yeah.
frankly it is, but there we go.
So
We used to do it too.
anyway, it's something to think about. I mean, you don't really think about these things. I thought it was, fashion. It's like wealthy people, like fur coats and everything. That's who's doing it, the wealthy people. But if it's a native custom, they've been doing it for so long, and then all of a sudden, the West brings medicine to the native people. More native people live longer and whatever, and then all of them, they want the big fancy headdresses or whatever. You don't know what's and we don't hear about it.
The West brings guns. Guns make a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Whatever. Yeah, that too. Then the headdresses get bigger. So yeah, it was sad to watch, but beautiful and very educational. So this beautiful birds is top notch. Very good job making this. So anyway, now James will talk about the great a bit. He had something to say about the huzzah, for one thing. So I'll start you there, and you'll see where you go with that. Okay, enjoy.
It's like a joke at first. I saw, and then smashing glasses. You were talking about smashing glasses now. So. It's tiring after a while. I mean, how many discs is this all total?
4 in there. You've done 3.
Holy smokes! I could have sworn there are 8 and I've done 6.
Okay, whatever.
It's pretty tiresome. Anyway, it's like kids doing gas passing jokes. Eventually, it gets a little tiresome. So this is supposed to be a comedy, but, satire exists. Satirical and comedic.
Well, it sort of is.
It's an attempt. Yep.
But it's just entertainment. There's not a whole lot of history there or anything like that. I mean, you have...
I don't know how much is made up about how crazily this Peter, the husband of Catherine the Great, was. I've heard stories. Of course, there were stories that she got it on with a horse, and they joke about it in the show
Do they?
a lot.
Mm.
Even pictures,
Oh
like when
my.
they freed up the censorship under her influence, pictures like that start appearing in this show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So anyway,
Yeah.
but you were wanting to talk about huzzah in particular. The word huzzah that is used. In fact, the letter H.
Well, they say it, but the Russians don't have an H.
There you go.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
So nowadays, or at least 100 years ago, maybe it happened under the communists, they'd picked up something, I think, that comes from English. It wouldn't be French, with the H in front of it. Hurrah. Well, I gather they'd say gura. That's what the Russians tend to do when they try to say in English H, or a German H. They could do the sound rendered in German by CH. Bah. Hurrah. And Spanish folks tend to do that because they don't have an H either. And they tend to put a G or a German CH sound with the H. So, do a little homework. Try to. They do have a disclaimer right on the title. Catherine the Great asterisk. And then it says some of this is based, something as this is based on reality or wherever. Fair warning or unfair warning. I don't know. What's the point? I don't get it. You're going to do entertainment. Just make something up. Do a historical romance set in Russia back then. You know, don't, because people are going to misinterpret it. Catherine the Great was this great Enlightenment figure. Orlo, is that what they call that little South Asian guy, Orlo?
I don't know.
It's hard to tell, but I think it's supposed to be Orlov, which would be kind of like son of a eagle or something like that. Oriel is eagle, and in a combinatory form it'd be ORL, and then whatever follows. I don't know. He starts off. I think the reason why they made him South Asian is he's a wee little guy, South Asian, although he's got a British accent. And I think it's supposed to be Gandhi, right? Mahatma, the great soul. Because you've heard him talking peace, right? Since you've started watching maybe a bit more, he's been very bloodthirsty. So, at least spoken, but...
well, he did end up killing.
Exactly right. So under some sort of duress. But yeah, I think it's kind of weird. I guess in our tradition, modern tradition, Gandhi's supposed to be one of the world's most enlightened individuals or whatever. Cut the crap. He was an idiot. He was not really, well, people criticize him as a Hindu fundamentalist. He's basically a Hindu. But he really thought that, he was a socialist. I don't know, one of the stupidest socialists that ever come down the pike. To be a social democrat or something like that, you've actually got to believe that you're appealing to workers of the world. And that would be industrial workers. Not people who are out there kind of making, I guess you could kind of say, people who make cotton, from scratch, like with a little Yeah, maybe not even much of a loon. I don't know. Maybe you could call him Lucas. I don't know. But he really thought that the way to go was to go back to the beginning, like get back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it had been done in India back then, and India's population back then, like about when he died, might have been 300,000, 300 million, I should say, which is horrible overpopulation for countries. What is India? Half the size of Canada? That's half the size of the United States. The United States is overcrowded with the same population roughly, maybe a little bit more. Overcrowded. It was overcrowded then. Now it's 5 times the population.
Well, sometimes people do seem to go backwards and they think they're being enlightened or something. I mean, there's people now that are, well, not so many people here in Lethbridge driving electric cars, but there's people driving electric cars here, and our electricity comes from coal. So basically, you're driving a coal-powered car. Is that environmentally friendly? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like if I see you with a solar panel on top of your car and a couple of sails sticking out on the on sides and on the top or something like that, you're not going to get brownie points or greenie points, shall we say. For me, coal, they say, is the dirtiest form of energy.
I mean, when did they convert coal-powered trains to diesel?
In my lifetime.
Really? It was that recent?
In Africa, we traveled everywhere. We traveled by train, by coal-powered train. I am not kidding. It was kind of fun, although a little bit smelly. You go around a corner or turn, and they're usually not sharp, but you'd be back half the train or more, and you could smell the smoke off the locomotive.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I'm not making it up, folks. Now, I believe when we hit England, they were using diesel trains then.
Okay, so maybe it was just like a Africa thing.
Well, any place in the third world, I suspect. They were just starting to convert in the first world. So the thing to look at is, when did the coal industry... Lethbridge was based on coal. So even the indigenous name for the Blackfoot name for Lethbridge is Sik-O-Ochato. What does that mean? It means black rock. And that should be Lethbridge's name. I mean, even when the Europeans were setting Lethbridge up, what was it for? It was for mining coal. So why call it after William Lethbridge, who never, apparently, visited Lethbridge at all, might not have even visited Canada. He was an English businessman, so I'm going to say British, but with a name with bridge at the end. Probably just English. Although Lord only knows what Leth means in English. Might have been Scottish or something like that. Scottish mixed with English. Anyway, William Lethbridge. A little bit of history. And luckily enough for you folks out home there isn't going to be a test on this tomorrow, so you're welcome to forget it even as we speak. Now, so I believe by 1960, the coal industry in Lethbridge, it was kaput. And why is that? I think by that time they'd phased out coal trains. But it might have been fairly recent, even. It seemed like my granddad was talking about diesel being an innovation or something like that. But granddads will be granddads and so on and so forth. But now trains, I remember my dad enthusing about trains, saying they're awesome technology. He didn't know why trucks were replacing them. And I was going, I didn't say too much. We've still got trains. They're awesome. I don't know why we got truck. Oh, he used to call them gawky trucks. He used to hold both hands on the wheel and tight. I expected the wheel at some point in time of our car
to come right off.
To just turn into powder, even worse, in his hands. But it got especially tight. I figured it'd be that turning into powder would happen when we got passed by a truck, a semi or stuff like that. He hated them. And, a truck like that was involved in, I'm not sure how responsible, I think there was some degree of responsibility, should have been, in my youngest brother dying. And, yeah, horrible car accident. He was about 40. I don't think he even made it to 40. I suspect, looking at the skid marks out on the site,
Mm.
I investigated fairly. One of my sisters and I investigated fairly thoroughly. We could see skid marks. I suspect all
Was
three
that Ruth?
vehicles involved. Yeah,
You guys are a lot alike.
we're different, but well, she's the sharpest of my siblings, and hopefully you
Yep,
folks
she's
at home
bright.
realize that I'm fairly sharp, and sometimes I engage in understatement. Understand, I'm not going to go around and say I know everything.
She's very creative. She's a
Can be.
creative thinker.
Like
She likes to learn, research.
I had a condition, still maybe have it a bit, but it was particularly acute. 2002, I remember driving. It was bothering me. I had inflammation of the eye.
Mm-hmm.
7 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Anyway, inflammation of the eye. And I was working, it was around Labor Day or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Bringing in some sod from sod dealership. I don't want to give them an advertisement because they're a very big company. Generally, I think they're competent, but and I was picking it up in our 1-ton. I was coming north of Coaldale. I was coming between Coaldale and Lethbridge. Luckily enough, it was 4 lanes. I ran through a field, or by a field, I should say, not through a field, strictly speaking, where we're cutting the hay. Man, oh man, that inflammation got instantly worse. And I had to pull over to the side of the road, kind of just looking through this watery film. It was like looking through a waterfalls or something like that. Over to the side of the road. So I phoned my sister, and I say, so what have I got? Describe the symptoms. 5 seconds. Last, actually. She used the technical term, blepharitis. Pretty impressive, eh? And that's from someone with a education degree. Blepharitis. So I go to my doctor. Now, she did that over the phone, 5 seconds. I go to my doctor, look him right in the eye, say, what's wrong? I have to give him the symptoms. Nothing. A year later, I've still got it. Go see him. Oh, I think you've got blepharitis. Thank you, doctor. Why aren't you cleaning toilets? For, like, back then, it would have been, well, we'll say nowadays it'd be like $20 an hour or something like that. Lord only knows. Like, spare me your stupidity. Anyway, we should focus on my sister's competence in stuff that she's not even trained in. But I was talking to a neighbor. Hopefully it turned out to be a friend. Seemed very friendly today. Just a new neighbor, and he used the word, not entomology, but etymology. He used it properly.
Yeah.
I said, you must have a university. And he said, no. He said he even had trouble getting through high school.
High school, yeah.
I guess he said flunked out.
Yeah.
But that didn't stick with me because
No.
I said, well, you must read a lot. And he says, yeah, I kind of do. And that's the kind of learning I respect, folks. Because so often people get their university
I didn't do well in high
degrees.
School either.
Yeah.
James did very well in high school.
I did very well in high school. But I told this guy, I don't judge people by the marks they get in school, wherever it is. Because for my BA degree, I just scraped through, I told him. It was like my grade point average. You had to have 2.00 to get through. And it was like 2.0, maybe it wasn't 1, but 2, just scraped through. Stuff like that. Now, I was awesome student, but just not good at getting marks.
You didn't hand in your papers.
Yeah, I had a writer's block, still do to a certain extent.
Yeah,
I had
he
a
does.
crummy teacher in Africa when I was a kid. I used to write lots. My mother would enthuse about it. I wrote this 9-page long story when I was in wait for it, I believe it's grade 2, 9 pages long. And she was showing it around to people, all that sort of stuff. Then I hit Africa. I'm going to mention a name. If you're still alive, Stan Shoemaker, you useless puke. He'd make fun of me. Stuff I wrote, all that sort of stuff. And you can develop a mental block. The thing is, if you got a mental block about this, that, and the other thing, you gotta work your way around it. You can't go around making it an excuse for not learning or whatever. You can't go around doing that. So I still read books. If you got a mental block about reading books, well, Lord help you. Because you're not going to be able to help yourself. You're not going to, much less help anyone else. So, yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Catherine the Great, I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to
got sidetracked there.
Well, can you blame me?
Yeah, who wants to talk about Catherine the Great?
Anyway, there might be somewhat of a message that this is modern day Russia, and it's being led by a successor to a guy who's like Peter the Great. Stalin is given credit for expanding the Russian Empire. As this guy says, this guy loved Stalin, worked for him. And then he eventually, when Stalin, the communist system went after him, put him in jail for, I believe it was 15 years.
Oh, wow.
For nothing. And his wife was in jail for a long time, too. Maybe a little less than that. So, yeah, his wife is Jewish. See,
Plus
that didn't help this guy.
today.
It feels every degree of that,
It
maybe
does,
a couple
yeah.
more. But, yeah. So, 2?
God, you're good.
Something. But anyway, I'm great at saying what the temperature is inside. Like within 1 degree. But, if someone really put the pressure on, I'd be off by 10. That's the trouble. But I think they're saying like Putin is kind of like a modern day successor to Stalin. Now, Putin hopefully will end up, and it depends on the United States and Europe. Europe can defeat Putin in the Ukraine if it decides to person up. The saying is man up, but person up and fund the Ukrainians to the hilt. I love hearing the Ukrainians are actually attacking Moscow now with drones. Keep going, Ukraine. What is they say? Slava Ukrainka or something like that. You go for the gusto.
Got a slipper.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yes. I think I can get it out though.
Yeah. I wonder where you got it from. Oh, maybe from the Clippers. I'd hate to think about those having slivers in them, but or loppers or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes if loppers get left out in the rain, I leave instruments out like hose out in the rain, and they get all furrowed.
Yeah.
But Marx said history repeats. I don't know if he said this originally, but it is a good thought. History repeats. First it's tragedy, and then it's comedy. And he's applying that to Napoleon I and Napoleon III. It happened again with the Kaiser Bill, World War I, and then Hitler, although that was tragic comic. And Hitler in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm afraid Peter the Great was tragic for most people. And this idiot, his son, Peter the whatever, Peter the Lesser,